Welcome to the Miracles and Wellness Podcast. I'm Clarissa Booker, your holistic health coach and beauty expert. I know how stress can derail your well-being as an entrepreneur. I'll be sharing simple strategies to reduce stress, ditch stress eating, and replace other habits while energizing your day by incorporating more plants onto your plate. With small shifts that can boost your health, happiness, and productivity. Whether you're seeking guidance with weight loss, stress release, or just a moment to recharge, I invite you to join me. Let's optimize your wellness path. So be open to receive because I believe that miracles are for everyone. Let's go.
Hey there, friend. Hope you're having a wonderful day. How are you doing today? Today, we're going to talk a little bit about enjoying our food, eating more mindfully, just embracing our senses, especially with the weather, this season's changing, hitting summer, just taking your time to enjoy the moment that we're in, right? Just enjoying our family, our friends, and that also includes gatherings with food, right? Because a lot of times food is a centerpiece and still being able to do that, but in a way that is more freeing, so to speak, right? Having that food freedom with your food and just enjoying each bite, one by one, being present in the moment without judgment, right? And so just thinking about that, just taking the time to just slow down, especially when just always on the go and feeling busy, because a lot of things are just fast paced, right? And especially when we're running these businesses, sometimes we have a lot of things on our plate. So it's just taking that time to nurture yourself and give back to yourself, all right, is extremely important. And a part of that, that tends to go over into our meals, right? Sometimes we're rushing our food and because we're just trying to move on to the next thing and we're not putting the time into just enjoying that, right? And then when we do that, that will naturally help with our weight management when you think about it as well. That only being one component, but it's a really good benefit, right? So choosing to eat more slower, savoring each bite, and just cultivating a deeper connection with your food, right? Did you prepare the food, putting the love that you did into your meal? Even if somebody prepared it for you, you can even think about what went into that, the harvesting, the farmers who grew the food, all the care they put into it. Just taking that, and just thinking about the moments and the love and the care that went into that. And when you're thinking about that, it can maybe help you not rush as much, okay? And so just exploring some of the benefits can help us lead to just greater health in general, right? So when we use our senses, it can just help us so we can use our sight, our smell, taste, touch, even sound. We can use everything when we are eating. Just by paying close attention to the colors, the textures, especially aromas. You always want to eat food that smells good, right? That can be an immediate turn off. And that can be different for everybody. What one person enjoys might not be what the next enjoys. And that's perfectly okay because we're all different. We're all individuals. We all have different experiences, right? So just taking that in tune as you're eating. Something that we could talk about is just enjoying a piece of fruit, right? Because fruits have the textures, the smells, how it lands on your palate, right? Even what you hear when you're biting into it, say it's an apple versus, like an orange, and then you taste the juices in your mouth, just taking the time to chew, right? Taking a couple of seconds to chew instead of just swallowing your food whole, right? And then how does it taste? And that's going to be different for everything that you eat. Just taking that and applying it to everything. Each bite, placing the fork down in between each bite and just enjoying it and just having that experience. And it can also lead to improved digestion. A lot of times we have issues with digestion and along Ayurvedic practices as well. Just eating mindfully will absolutely help improve your digestion. Just giving yourself time to even get full for one. Sometimes if you're eating so fast, you don't even realize that you're not even hungry. Have you ever experienced that? You're just eating and eating, and then next thing you know, you're just stuffed, right? That itis kicks in, that itis. Thanksgiving is one thing, but then every single day, not so much. We do want to give ourselves grace, but don't take that to the point that you're doing it every single day. Then that just means you're not doing it at all, right? You're not maintaining that habit and creating those behaviors, just embracing that as part of your identity, right? Being like, I do eat mindfully, right? I am a person who enjoys their food, appreciates their food, and I'm taking my time when I'm eating. It also can help out with weight management, as I mentioned before. Even when you think about that, even when I just said that sometimes we just eat too much. Sometimes we are taught to finish our plate. So hopefully we're not doing that anymore, right? Even with your little ones or other people, letting them know and also giving yourself permission not to finish your plate. If you were told that there were starving children somewhere, it is okay because you're not required to finish your plate. You can definitely help out in other ways of philanthropy, right? You do not have to stuff yourself. Allow yourself to feel 80% full. And then you feel so much better, so much more energized when you're eating in that way, okay? Especially when we're having our fresh plant-based foods on our plate. That's automatically also going to give us the energy that we need and the nutrients that we need. And then still taking that and eating mindfully with it. And then on top of that, with the fiber, with the water that's coming from the food, you will feel full. So when you're putting this all together, you still can have your protein on there, right? Fiber is most likely not going to be as much of an issue if we're eating plant-based, right? Just being mindful of what you're eating, taking note to make sure that your plate is balanced. Ideally, no matter how you're eating, whether you are an omnivore or you're plant-based, your plate should be balanced. So that's just an argument that should get thrown out the window. That doesn't have anything to do with just being plant-based. So your plate should be balanced. And when you're doing that, you will get your nutrients. You will still get the proteins. All food has protein, for one. But I will tell you that when we are working out, when we are strength training, yes, do make sure that you are getting an adequate amount, right? Making sure you have your tofu, for example, or tempeh, if you're having your legumes. So trying to figure that out, what works for you and your number. So it's going to be different for everyone, for one. And knowing what works with your system. So kale might not work for you and it's amazing superfood, right? But say it doesn't work with your body. Say it doesn't work with your digestion. That's fine. You do not need to eat that. There's so many wonderful foods out there that you can replace it with something else, okay? And doing all these, the weight loss is just a bonus, right? It's just an amazing benefit of taking care of yourself, loving on yourself. Yes, because you so deserve it, because you want to be here, right? Your strength is important. Your longevity is important. Your productivity is important, okay? Because whenever you have the energy, whenever you're taking care of yourself, whenever you're eating the nutrient-dense foods, whenever your stress levels, all of the things, your numbers are coming down, right? When you're going to get your checkups, you'd be like, I did that. Look at that. The productivity is going to increase because your health is improving, because you feel amazing, okay? Just taking that one day at a time. It's a trickle effect, a domino effect, same thing. And then just being grateful, just having that gratitude. And in the process, right? So that also can go back to giving yourself grace, all right? So if you are looking to lower your numbers, say your blood pressure is high, or you want to lose weight, you're pre-diabetic, all of these things, still giving yourself the little wins along the way. Don't being like, I'm not going to celebrate until I get to this specific goal. Enjoy the journey, the process. So having fun with your food, enjoying it. So yes, you can still eat amongst friends and family and enjoying the moments, the holidays, the outings. Just do it in a way that's beneficial for you, and you will enjoy it so much more that way instead of feeling stuffed and being like, I can't do anything right now. I need to go take a nap. That means you missing out on the fun, right? Cooking together, going to the gardens together. There's so many things, right? And like for myself, embracing mindfulness in my own life, I know it's definitely helped improve my overall being as it does everyone else's, right? By being able to slow down and savor my meals. Because I used to rush too, right? And sometimes I still have to check myself, be like, sis, you need to slow down. Me, I'm sis, okay? And just being like, yes, taking that time. And then you feel so much better. So it's me as well, because we're all in this together. We all go through similar things, okay? And then just you having that satisfaction with your food, right? Enjoying my food more. I love just taking a moment just to sit outside, especially on a nice day, and just enjoying my food, watch the birds, and, just enjoying life, watching everybody enjoying life as you enjoy your life in the process, being grateful for where you are. The fact that you have that freedom to take that break, even if it's just 20 or 30 minutes, being like, man, I'm so grateful that I get to sit down and enjoy this food, right? Enjoy the scenery. Whether it's sunny outside or light rain, being grateful for all of it, for whatever God produces, there's a reason for it, right? Yes. So heightened sensory awareness, just engaging all our senses while we're eating. This, like I said, noticing the colors, the textures, the aromas, like an orange or strawberry. Fruits are just easy for us to talk about, right? Strawberry, yummy, sweet strawberry, so good. The sweetness of it, the texture when you feel it, the smelling of it, the tasting of the strawberry. And all strawberries are going to taste different, right? Hearing the sound as you're biting into it and chewing it slowly and savoring it and tasting it. How does it taste on your palate? So chewing your food, we talked about, thoroughly and slowly. Yes, not just eating on the run or trying to find those couple of minutes where you can sit down so that we're not eating in the car, eating in between our meetings. I know sometimes, you just have to plan it, just like you're planning all the other activities and things in your world. Taking the time to give that to yourself. Be like, hey guys, it's time to eat. I know sometimes it's hard because people are all over the place, but just making that a part of it. Right? Being like, this is a change we're going to make. Boom. And that's it. Right? It might not happen the first time, but if you keep at it and you keep at it, one day you're going to be like, all right. So you're going to say it's time to eat, just going over there and doing the thing. Because this is also going to aid in our digestion and how we optimize our nutrient absorption, the energy levels, as I mentioned, all this stuff before. And then being able to tune in to our hunger and fullness cues. And then this also can go back to our levels of stress and burnout as well, because this is why everything goes hand in hand. That's why you can't just talk about one thing. Can't just be like, well, I'm just going to go work out. That's only one component. And if your nutrition is not where it needs to be, it's not going to matter if you hit the gym or go for a walk or do whatever it is that you're doing, because it's going to be counterproductive, right? Yeah, it's not going to matter, because what you're putting in, it can feed disease, it can fight it, everything. Our nutrition is so important. So adding more plants onto our plate is going to be beneficial. And so these hunger cues, right? Just realizing where you are, knowing, okay, I'm at 80% full. But if you're eating because you're stressed out and you're just feeling anxious and you're just burnt out and you're just like, oh, the world right now is not agreeing with me, then it will be harder for you to notice that when you think about it, right? Have you ever noticed that whenever you're in your state and you're just stressed out or you're just not feeling your best, or even depression? The list can go on. It might be harder for you to recognize those cues, right? Because you're stress eating, emotional eating, and you're just not paying attention. And you could take food and replace it with anything. Anything. So that's why our mental health is so important. Our mental health is important for so many reasons. But just for this one thing that we're talking about right now, it's going to be harder for you to recognize it. So practicing that, checking in with yourself. But we're also here for you, of course, because I know sometimes it's easier said than done. So we are always there to help you. You're not alone. I know I feel like we say that a lot these days, but it's so true. And, sometimes we just need to hear that. Because sometimes you do feel that way. You feel like you don't have anybody to talk to, or nobody understands. Or you feel like you don't want to burden other people. Because maybe you do feel like you're the caretaker and you're the nurturer. And you're like, man, I have to do for everyone. But you know what? You have to do for yourself too. You do. You have to do for yourself. So we're here for you, okay? Always know that. Cultivating that self-compassion for yourself. Being non-judgmental with yourself. And sometimes whenever you start working on yourself and opening up the door to healing, taking these time to do these meditations and sitting down, sometimes things come up as it should, right? Your body knows when to heal. So you might get something today, then you might get something next week and be like, whoa, where'd that come from? Knowing what you can handle in the moment. And then when this is happening, trying not to judge yourself in the process, but giving yourself self-compassion. Okay? Because you deserve that self-compassion. Because we all have a story. And it's okay. So just taking these practices every day, whether it's the eating, the breathing for sure. Breathing is so powerful. Something so simple, something so powerful can help you dramatically at any point. Okay? And so it can be easy to fall back into old habits of eating quickly, but just taking a moment, just to remind yourself to slow down and savor each bite. Don't be like, oh man, I did it. As soon as you notice what's happening, and the more you do it, the more you'll notice it, right? And then you'll become more that person where you'll be like, I'm not going to rush. So trying not to eat in front of screens, which is very hard this day and age, but just trying to give yourself that moment to yourself where you're not in front of any kind of screen or you're not driving, so that you can focus on the sensory experience of your meal. Because if you're off watching TV or on your computer, you know all the things we do, right? You're not focusing on that. And then what happens also, you're going to ignore your when you're full, right? You're going to ignore that moment when you're like, okay, I'm good. And you pause when at one moment the fork's going to be down, you're not going to realize that, you're really that hungry. And it's good. You reach that 80% fullness. So paying attention to those signals, always in stopping. Remember, you do not have to finish your plate, regardless of what happened or what was said. It's okay to release that. You can even dig in and journal on where that came from. You might know where it came from. Maybe you were growing up and you were taught to finish your plate. Write on that. And that can go pretty deep. Something with that one topic. Guidance could be helpful as well with that. Okay? So just cultivate a mindful approach to eating and just staying present and engaged with your food. Because food is lovely. We all love food, right? We love recipes. We love to eat. And this can help shift you to lasting changes in your eating habits and your overall well-being. And whenever you notice that there's some emotional triggers coming up, you're feeling stressed or anxious, all of the things, right? You can use some mindfulness techniques to help you through that. Write it down and then bring it to your next coaching session, right? And work with that and just go through that. Just let it all out. Whatever it is, it's okay. So just today, after listening to this, take note of your next meal that you're going to eat. and practice with it. Just giving yourself that. Engage in all your senses, Engage all your senses and just focusing on the present moment. And just reflect on how it impacts your eating experience, how you feel afterwards, how your mood is. Everything. Just noticing all the little intricacies. So feel free to reach out with any questions and share your experiences. And we are definitely here for you, so reach out. There's also going to be a free training coming out, Break the Cycle of Stress and Burnout, Your Path to Mindful and Holistic Health. We're going to go over stress management, the art of setting healthy boundaries, triggers and emotions, and how plant-based eating also helps with all of that. So the link is going to be in the bio, and go ahead and sign up for that. I cannot wait to see you there. And until next time.
Goodbye, guys. Thank you for listening to my mom's podcast. Leave a 5-star review.
Thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed this episode and are feeling empowered in your journey towards a thriving well-being. Also, share this episode to someone you know this will bless, as that's how we spread the message. And don't forget just to take 30 seconds to leave a written review on Apple Podcasts by scrolling down the show page and clicking write a review, because it also helps us grow. I appreciate you taking the time to show us support.